John White with HCEC-TV with another edition of HCS Spotlight, where we go around highlighting special accomplishments by local students and faculty. And today we are visiting Bluegrass Middle School because they have a team here, as you see to the right of me, that have accomplished a great feat here recently. It was called the You Be the Chemist Challenge, and they actually won the state championship. So I'm going to have them introduce themselves, and then we can talk a little bit more about what this challenge was. So if you wouldn't mind introducing yourself, Mrs. Goes, and then you can pass it down.
I'm Melissa Goes. I'm the head coach of the Bluegrass Middle School academic team.
I'm Emmett England, and I'm part of the chemistry team that won.
I'm Liam Kleperick, and I'm also part of the chemistry team.
I'm Hunter Baker, and I'm also part of the chemistry team.
I'm Esher Simon, and I'm also part of the chemistry team.
All right, very good. All right, so guys, this was kind of a two-part competition that we had. A couple months ago, we had a local competition. I guess this was the regional championship. Is that what it was described as? For this challenge called You Be the Chemist Challenge. Can you tell me a little bit more, Ms. Goes, about that particular challenge, what all involved? And I understand it was sponsored locally by Dow Chemical. Is that right?
Yes, the regional challenge was sponsored by Dow Chemical. It was organized by Brandy New. The regional challenge is an in-person competition where we have different teams that answer general science questions along with the chemistry questions.
Okay, and I think there were about 4 teams, correct?
There were 3.
3 teams, I'm sorry. And obviously these guys here were on the winning team. Mm-hmm. So you guys want to talk about it, what that part of that competition was like and how you prepared for it and things like that? Anybody want to talk about that particular part of it?
I'll say something.
Yeah.
I think that teamwork was a very important part in communication, because if one person knew the answer and they didn't tell anybody else, obviously they're not going to communicate that that's what you should put. So I think working on communication was probably a big thing, and I think most of the people already knew a lot of science knowledge, so I think that helped with the competition.
Okay. So you're obviously happy with the results of that part of it because you came in first. How did you prepare for that? There was a lot of questions I remember there being, and how do you prepare for something like that? Is just you have a general interest in chemistry, or how does that work? Any of you?
So I'm the main science kid for the academic team, so mostly I just studied a lot of science the whole year, and that helped a lot with the chemistry.
I believe he has something to say also.
Also, Ms. Goes made a well-constructed slideshow for us that helped us study the chemistry.
So all of you are pretty interested in chemistry, I assume, obviously, because you wouldn't have been on the team otherwise. So you won that part of it, and then there was part B to the challenge, which was a video that you had to produce that you submitted, I guess, with all the other regional champions. Is that how it worked?
Yeah.
And then whoever, I guess there were a set of judges that judged that video. So tell me a little bit about that video. We're going to see it here in a second, but who would like to talk more about who came up with the idea, who produced it, that sort of thing? Who would like to talk about that? Anyone?
I'm pretty sure it was a group effort on the idea. I think Liam, Ezra, and Hunter probably did more of that. I was the editor, so I really just put the pieces of the video together overall, and I kind of finished everything up. But they did a lot of stuff with coming up with the idea and the science behind it.
Bless you. I believe he wants to say something also.
Hunter helped me finish up putting together the script. Liam mainly made the logo. I had to keep everyone in check to make sure they were doing their work. So yeah, that was mainly the roles of us for us.
Yeah, so a lot of the video, he set up the slideshow that was the script, and then I mostly changed it up to make it more science-y for the judges to like it more. You want to say something, Liam?
For the slideshow, we had to work together to find a good solution. If one of us made a mistake, we would have to agree on something that would be better.
Okay. So obviously, came out really well because you guys were picked first place, and congratulations again on that. Before we finish up here, let's take a look real quick at the video.
This is Polygreen by Team KY1 from Bluegrass Middle School.
Mission. The mission of Polygreen is to use organisms called Ideonella sacyensis that decompose the polymers that make up plastics and other problematic waste in order to help protect the ecosystem.
Problem. The problem we have chosen is plastic damaging the world around it. Plastic can take hundreds of years before it breaks down. Even then, plastic never fully decomposes. Plastic can also damage the local environment and ecosystems far away via rainfall washing chemicals and plastic away.
Solution. Polygreen will fulfill our mission by genetically modifying or engineering a species of microorganisms that rapidly degrade the polymers within common litter. This reduces the amount of trash and creates a safe method of disposal for potentially harmful materials. The microbes would use enzymes called pedases, ethylene terephthalate, and medase, monohydroxyethyl terephthalic acid, bonded together so they rapidly degrade plastic. These enzymes have been shown to be able to break down plastic in only a few days. If we can incorporate these enzymes into a microorganism, we can make the microorganism use these enzymes to break down plastic. Then we can make a landfill that can break down polyethylene terephthalate plastic without fire or chemicals that could harm the environment.
This is a diagram of how our microbe can be implemented into landfills and other places where we can break down plastics and trash. First, our microbe will break down big pieces of plastic. Then, the pieces of plastic will move through a filter into smaller and smaller sections, and our microbe will break down the plastic until it poses no danger. This design is very good and uses water to keep the plastics flowing, and can be implemented even in lakes, not just landfills.
Sustainability. Polygreen plans to address sustainability in cities and communities by providing cheap/free alternatives to just throwing trash away in an ordinary garbage can. This would also help lower the leaching landfills cause.
Careers. Biochemist. Biochemists research and work with the chemical processes that occur in life. They also work on organic, inorganic, and physical chemistry. Biochemists also try to figure out ways to control the chemical processes that occur in life, a crucial part of what we need to do.
Careers. Microbiologist. Bachelor's degree minimum. Polygreen is based around microbiology, so having an expert in that field would increase our chances of success. Microbiologists would also research what type of microorganisms we should use. Only certain microorganisms have a chance of being modified into what we need, so if we could figure that out quickly, that would expedite the process. Microbiologists also know what microorganisms need to survive, which would be very useful for knowing what is and isn't there in making the organism.
Funding specialist, bachelor's degree minimum. A funding specialist is someone who finds good ways to invest your financial resources, helping the company stay afloat and in a stable economic state. We will need a funding specialist because the startup company is going to need lots of funding for equipment, chemicals, and pay. So, as this is a startup company and doesn't have a lot of money, funding is the main way of getting this money, which is why we will need a funding specialist to help us.
Extra careers. High school diploma minimum. Technician. A technician is somebody who installs, inspects, repairs, or modifies complex systems, or who undertakes diagnostic or mechanical tests. Overseers. Overseers will be at the reservoir making sure that the employees are working. Delivery driver. A delivery driver's job is to transport items from one place to another.
Strengths and weaknesses. The strengths are that it works in theory and is likely highly efficient, and it also helps the local ecosystem. But its weaknesses are that it's difficult to find people with the correct qualifications, it's potentially very difficult to work with, and it will be somewhat expensive.
Here are the citations that include the sites and places that we got our information that we used in order to complete this project. Founded by Ezra S., Task Manager Insider, Emmett E., Editor, Hunter B., Writer, and Liam K., Graphic Designer of Bluegrass Middle School, 170 W.A. Jenkins Road, Elizabethtown, KY.
All right, guys, great video, and congratulations. Who wants to be a chemist from now on? Anybody specifically want to go further with their chemistry career? No?
I think science in general.
Science in general?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, congratulations again. Moving on now, are there any, is it just a state championship, or is there things beyond this?
So there is a national level. However, only 5 state champions are chosen to move on to the national level in Texas.
And
So
unfortunately, you guys
yeah,
weren't
unfortunately,
one.
we weren't part of that.
I wonder how that's chosen. I mean, 5 out of 50, I guess, that are submitted?
It's the top scores from the combined scores from region and the video. So we were like in the upper 90th percentile for the regional competition.
Yeah.
However, our video was a lower score.
Oh, well, I'm sorry to hear
Yeah.
that. I thought it was a fantastic video. Well, maybe next year, right? Because I guess this is an annual event, right?
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you guys for hanging out with me today, and appreciate it, and good luck with everything else you do in the future. And thank you for joining us for HCS Spotlight.